Hey my babies! Welcome back to the channel. Buckle up because today's video is going to be a roller coaster in every sense of the word. We're diving into some of the wildest, most unbelievable theme park stories. And trust me, the last one will leave your jaw on the floor. Make sure to like and subscribe right now because you're going to want protection on this ride. Look, I love thrill rides as much as the next person, but sometimes the scariest part isn't the drop, it's what happens off the tracks. People sneaking into restricted areas, rides that weren't meant to be tested, and experimental contraptions straight out of a cartoon gone wrong. We're going to react to it all together. First up, we've got a few cases of people ignoring the bright red warning signs. You know those do not enter gates? Yeah, there's a reason they're there. James A. Young at Cedar Point, Asia Lee Ferguson at Six Flags, Ardenaro Nelson at Kings Island, each one a reminder that a lost phone or hat is never worth your life. Watch this with me.
These are shocking cases of people who entered restricted roller coaster areas, and the last one is devastating. Number 1, James A. Young, 2015. At Cedar Point in Ohio, the 45-year-old lost his phone on the Raptor ride. Ignoring safety rules, he crossed 2 restricted fences to retrieve it. Seconds later, the coaster struck him at full speed, killing him instantly. Number 2, Asia Lee Ferguson, 2008. At Six Flags Over Georgia, the 17-year-old ignored warning signs and scaled 2 fences to get his hat back. As soon as he stepped onto the Batman coaster track, the train came rushing through, ending his life on the spot. Before I show you the last one, if you like, subscribe and comment God. You'll get a full week of incredible good luck. Don't risk it. Number 3, Ardenaro Nelson, 2024. While on the Banshee ride at Kings Island, he lost his keys and entered a restricted area to recover them. The coaster struck him at high speed. He was rushed to the hospital but died days later from his severe injuries.
Get out!
Wow, babies. This is already scary. Imagine crossing 2 fences for a phone and a train comes rushing at you. I'm literally clutching my seat just thinking about it. But babies, before we go further, you have to see this next one. This guy literally hit record and captured terrifying footage of himself almost dying on a ride. The moment starts off all fun and games, and then you can hear the panic creep into his voice as the ride malfunctions midair.
How I almost died on India's most dangerous Ferris wheel.
Bro, we are whipping!
I saw this thing moving so fast that I knew I had to ride it. It cost $1 to ride, and everything was creaking as I walked onto it. As it started spinning and getting higher and higher, I noticed a bunch of carts had fallen off.
They've fallen! They've fallen! They've fallen!
And that's
You can hear him breathing hard, praying under his breath. This is like Final Destination, but filmed on a phone.
I don't know if I could even watch my own footage after something like that. Could you?
All right, babies. Just when you think you've seen everything, here's a nightmare scenario. A ride literally called the 360 at Green Mountain Park in Saudi Arabia. 1 second, everyone's screaming for fun. The next second, the support pole snaps. Yes, snaps in half, while people are mid-loop. Look at this aftermath.
This is the aftermath of an amusement park ride that snapped in half in Saudi Arabia. It's called the 360 because it goes in a 360 loop just like this. And this all happened at Green Mountain Park on July 31st, where the central support pole literally snapped in this moment. Now for community safety, I can't show you the actual full video. But as you can see, 1 second it was fine, and then it just gave way and it snapped in half. And these people swung and collided into this metal pole before falling to the ground. And when it hit the metal pole, it did so hard that it literally blew people's shoes off that were on the other side. This is what the aftermath looked like, and 23 people were injured, 3 people were critically injured, and even people that were not on the ride got injured from falling debris. Now, most amusement parks do their due diligence to make sure the rides are safe, but sometimes things go overlooked and people get hurt as a result. I honestly feel like I'm good on theme park ride attractions, but how do you guys feel?
Oh my God, shoes flying off, debris hitting bystanders, 23 people injured. This is why I say, check the weather, check the maintenance, and maybe skip the rides called the 360 of Doom. But hold up, because our next clip is pure action park chaos. Uncle Gene's experimental man-in-the-ball ride, basically putting someone inside a giant PVC hamster ball and sending them down a mountain track. What could possibly go wrong, right? Spoiler, everything.
This ride at Action Park went so horribly wrong that it never opened to the public. This experimental contraption was called the Man in the Ball, and then they later simplified the name to call it the Bailey Ball. It was designed for people to go inside of it and be rolled down a mountain track on a line of PVC pipe. Now, as usual, the owner grabbed one of his teenagers, gave them $100 and said, "Go test this." To quote Gene, "You're not gonna find this at Disney." Now, unfortunately, since it was a really hot day, the PVC pipe track extended and the glue on it melted. But whatever, Gene gave them the green light to roll down that hill. The ball ended up catapulting off of the PVC pipe and rolled down the 600-foot mountain. It crossed over the freeway and landed into a swamp with a person inside. It ended up in the nearby woods and it was left there, and the ride never became a thing.
Babies. That ball literally flew off the track, crossed a freeway, and landed in a swamp. This isn't Disney. This is a Looney Tunes episode gone live action. Would you have been the guinea pig for $100? Be honest. And then there's the cursed animatronic shark ride. Technicians electrocuted, a teen bitten, whispers of a curse, replaced by a Harry Potter ride.
Did you guys know that a dude fell off the boat into the water with the animatronic shark in 1990? But that wasn't the worst thing that has happened on this ride. 2 years after that incident, in 1992, a teenager had jumped off the boat at this part of the ride and was bitten by the animatronic shark. Imagine being in the water with this guy. The kid was rescued, but he suffered so much blood loss by the time he got to the hospital that he had passed away. But before any of that even happened, technicians were in the water before the ride opened, and they were supposed to make sure that Jaws was more lifelike. And while working on him underwater, somehow the power got turned on, electrocuting all the underwater technicians. And hours later, staff came by to find their floating bodies, and they thought it was part of the ride. People say the ride is cursed, and since then, they've closed the ride and replaced it with a Harry Potter ride. People have gone on to say that this ride also experiences all kinds of difficulties and the ride is still cursed. But what do you guys think?
Urban legend or cursed attraction? You decide. But imagine falling into that water with an animatronic shark coming at you. No thanks, buddy. I swear, some of these rides feel like Final Destination setups. The fact that staff thought bodies were part of the attraction? Chills. Literal chills. Finally, babies. Let's talk about Motor World's full-size go-karts. 16-year-old staff drinking at the beer tent, speed limiters, getting overridden, drunk uncles turning into Ricky Bobby. It's like someone built a theme park out of a liability waiver.
Here's 8 dark facts about America's most dangerous park, part 2. Alright, so in number 4, we're going to talk about Motor World and some of the chaos that went on there. One of the main attractions in Motor World was the full-size go-karts that you could race, which is pretty awesome. But keep in mind that 70% of the staff is like 16 and 17-year-olds, and they're all getting drunk at the beer tent as well because Gene, or Uncle Gene, the owner, doesn't really believe in rules and all these corporate things and also labor laws. So they're the ones that are in charge of a lot of these rides, and another problem with this ride was it was literally located next to the beer tent. So Uncle Gene was all about cutting corners because he was pretty much self-funding the whole park, especially in the areas of safety and labor laws, but where he didn't cut corners is the beer tent. He literally paid to have a brewery disassembled in Germany and sent over to Action Park so that it could have an authentic German feel, which is pretty awesome, to be honest, because I like German beer. It's funny how he could find the budget for that, but he probably just made like the beer tent his hangout spot. And with any go-kart situation, there's always that uncle or dad that had a few beers and they're ready to be the next Ricky Bobby. So basically, that's what was happening every week there, and people were just getting drunk and just driving crazy, and then a few people even figured out how to override the speed limiter. And apparently there'd be times where they would chase around like park employees or attendees on the go-karts and just terrorize people. And some of the people that would override the speed limiter, they would like take it off the course and go around the whole park in it.
Look, I love a good kart race. But when the staff are teens with beers in hand and the riders are going NASCAR speeds through the park, that's a hard pass from me. How about you? So, babies, after all these clips, from restricted zones to self-recorded near-death footage to snapped poles, cursed sharks, and runaway hamster balls, how brave are you really? On a scale of 1 to 10, would you still step into these rides, or are you sticking to the merry-go-round with me? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed, hit that bell, and follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube for more wild theme park stories. Stay safe, and remember, sometimes the scariest stories are just stories, but the fences are real.